Government says environment agenda remains at forefront.
But we have environmental master plan for strategic interventions.
TPA opens office in Malawi to enhance trade.
To declare that the TPA country office in Lilongwe, Malawi has officially opened.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Agnes Tuniga. You can also follow us live on our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The Minister of State, Union and Environment, Dr. Selemani Jafo, says that the government of Tanzania will continue to take various measures to combat climate change and maximize on the experience gained in the COP28 meeting, which was attended by various heads of state. He announced the commitment while meeting with journalists in Dar es Salaam to brief on the outcome and steps taken following Tanzania's participation in the COP28 meeting in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
We have our environmental policy in place of 2021, but we have environmental master plan for strategic interventions. When you just analyze, you make analysis of those the environmental policy and the master plan for strategic interventions, you can find how Tanzania just may be prepared itself to make sure that we are combating the issue of climate change. For example, currently we have the carbon credit regulations and the guideline. This help out to address the issue of emissions, especially to the forest, to the transport sector, to the energy sector, plus the waste management sector.
From November 30th to December 12 for the COP28 climate conference, which resulted in nearly every country in the world agreeing to transition away from fossil fuels and different matters related with the conservation of the environment. The Tanzania Port Authority, TPA, has officially launched its office in Malawi, which is a move by the authority to move port services closer to its local customers. The Minister of Transport of Tanzania, Professor Makame Mbarawa, says that the office will reduce inconveniences to the customers of the Port of Dar es Salaam in Malawi by enabling them to get all the services while in their own country.
Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, I once again, on behalf of the United Republic of Tanzania, I would like to declare that the TPA country office in Lilongwe, Malawi has officially opened. We thank you so much and expected more cooperation, which will result in strong business relationship for the benefits of our economies and our people.
On the other hand, the Minister of Transport and Construction of Malawi, Jacob Hara, says the office will be of great benefit to Malawian businessmen and will ease cargo transportation activities through the port.
The Malawi-Tanzania Transport Corridor. It is indeed a great pleasure to see that barely weeks after signing of the agreements, the fruits are already beginning to ripen. So let me also congratulate you, Honorable Minister, and the government of the Republic of Tanzania for establishing these offices of the Tanzania Ports Authority in Lilongwe. I am particularly impressed at the speed with which you have moved in implementing one of the key articles on the bilateral agreements of the Malawi-Tanzania corridor transport system.
Furthermore, Director General of TPA, Placidius Mbosa, says that the launch of the office is part of the implementation of the port's mission to move its services closer to the customers.
It's the great role of marketing the Tanzania Ports Authority has done by offering reliable information on facilities and services offered by Tanzania ports, specifically the ports of Dar es Salaam, now will be delivered from this office. This will include the provision of updated information on new and ongoing projects, system, equipment from time to time, also receiving all the concerns from our customers here in Malawi.
The Lilongwe office becomes TPA's 7th office to be officially established outside the country, aiming at facilitating port operations and trade in the landlocked countries in the East and Southern African regions. The Southern African Development Community, SADC, has officially launched its electoral observation mission for the upcoming presidential, legislative and provincial elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The inauguration, which took place in Kinshasa, aligns with Article 3 of the revised SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic elections. This article mandates SADC's observation of general elections across its member states.
Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema and chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security cooperation appointed former Vice President of Zambia, Enoch Kavindele, as the head of mission. The mission will focus on the pre-election, election day and post-election period, which includes the campaigns, polling day and the counting of the ballot papers.
SADC urges all registered voters to exercise their civic and political rights by voting on the 20th December 2023. We encourage all stakeholders to ensure that these elections are peaceful, fair, free, transparent, and credible. We look forward to an electoral process that adheres to democratic values and principles envisioned by the SADC Treaty.
The SADC Secretariat has been further mandated to coordinate the electoral observation mission, including the facilitation of in-country deployment of observers. Comprising 71 personnel, 52 deployable, the observation mission will cover 18 of the 26 DRC provinces.
You can deploy to all the provinces, but you will not be able to cover every polling station but you will cover enough to make a conclusion.
As election day draws nearer, concerns about security are steadily increasing.
Security is always a concern in elections. We were assured that they have done their best to meet with the police command, who have assured them that security will be provided. In this country, security forces don't vote, so no security personnel are on leave, but they will be all working on the voting day to attempt, and I must say attempt, because this country is very, very huge, to provide security. So wherever security men are, the police, their job on the voting day is to assist in making sure that the issue of security is addressed.
The SADC Electoral Observation Mission is expected to release its preliminary statement on the 22nd of December before concluding its business in the DRC on the 30th.
It's our wish that this country has credible elections as stipulated in the SADC charters. So that is my prayer, that peace is maintained in this great country.
Minister of Agriculture Hussein Bashe urged local investors to invest in the agriculture sector following conducive investment environment set by the government in the sector. Minister Bashe insists that Tanzania focuses to be a hub of food production in the world, asserting the private sector to play its part and contribute to the agriculture production.
Na serikali tuna establish mechanization centers.
As the government, we are going to establish mechanization centers after we complete fertilizers incentive schemes. The mechanization center will be run by private sectors so as to increase productivities in agriculture.
Tutakwambia kwamba badala ya kumchaji mkulima eka moja shilingi 60,000, sisi tutakupa 10,000. Mchaji 50,000.
On the other hand, the Minister of Finance, Mwigulu Nchemba, and the Minister of State President's Office, Planning and Investment, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, says the government is putting in place regulations to remove all businesses' hurdles that may hinder smooth trade operations in the country, urging more local investors to invest in the agriculture sector.
Of the private sector in our economy. And my role as a minister responsible for planning and investment, even when I check at this presentation, the key question I'm asking is that if it can be done by the private sector, let it be done by the private sector. So if these guys, when they bring plans to me, I check on them. One criterion that I'm looking at, can this thing be done by the private sector? If it is yes, please let us not do it as the government.
We are going to increase capital to financial institutions that are working with the agricultural sector so that they can provide capital to private investors in agriculture.
Tanzania is committed to increase agriculture budget up to 1.5 billion towards 2030, aiming at improving agricultural infrastructure and trade. The Permanent Secretary, Prime Minister's Office, Labour, Youth Employment and Persons with Disabilities, Cyprian Luhemeja, urged Tanzanian women in the nursing sector to take advantage of the 500 job opportunities announced by the government of Saudi Arabia to Tanzanians. The move follows President Samia Suluhu Hassan's visit to Saudi Arabia, where Tanzania and the government of Saudi Arabia and the government of the United Arab Emirates countries signed cooperation agreements in matters of labor and employment. He made the call in Dar es Salaam. Engineer Cyprian Luhemeja adds that the action is the beginning of the implementation of the agreement between the government of Saudi Arabia and the United Republic of Tanzania, insisting all the Tanzanians with the qualifications and relevant skills to register on the government employment website and send their applications to esu@taesa.go.tz.
The visit that the president made in Saudi Arabia has bore fruits, with opening doors to 500 medical practitioners, giving the first priority to women. I urge qualified female medical practitioners to visit our job portal and send their job applications, but further instructions will be channeled through the media. Bear in mind that the deadline for receiving applications is December the 31st, and the window shall be closed definitely in January 10th.
Mwisho kupokea maombi kwa wote wenye sifa stahiki ni 31 December.
However, Engineer Cyprian says the application deadline is December 31st this year, and the entire process is expected to be completed on January 10th, 2024, where the Minister for the Prime Minister's Office, Labour, Youth Employment and Persons with Disabilities, Professor Joyce Ndalichako, will meet with the Tanzanians who will be selected. Minister of State President's Office, Local Government and Regional Administration, Mohamed Mchengera, says he is satisfied with the implementation of the Pre-Primary and Primary Education Improvement Project BOOST following the construction of a primary school, Magogo, in the Geita region. He was inspecting the progress of the project in the region, insisting the project aims at reducing overcrowding in the classrooms, which leads some schools opting double-shift schooling. Here's the report by Halfan Binde, read by Faithangaga.
The success follows the implementation of the Boost project by the government, which is executed in every corner of the country, aiming at establishing equality of education for all Tanzanian children, regardless of whether they come from urban or rural areas. It is obvious that millions of funds are being witnessed to improve the education sector infrastructure. Magogo Street in the Geita region is one of the streets that has benefited from the project.
This project has costed a total sum of 600,300,000 Tanzanian shillings, of which we received boost funds of 500,300,000 Tanzanian shillings and 68 million Tanzanian shillings from the district council for compensation.
This school has 14 classes and 2 primary classes inclusive of an administrative block.
Here, the Minister of State, President's Office, Local Government and Regional Administration, Mohamed Mchengera, says he is satisfied with this implementation of the project.
This is a good project, and the President Samia Suluhu Hassan and teachers will be entering the phases unlike before. Students will get an opportunity for all to be educated, unlike before where classes were not enough and the student had to study in shifting. I urge all leaders at the district level to make sure that this school is properly taken care of.
He furthermore reminds the residents of the issue of enrollment of their children to pre-primary and primary school.
My instruction to the entire district team is to ensure that the enrollment exercise is priority and to increase the enrollment effort so that every child practices the right to education.
The Boost project is implemented for 5 years in the country from 2021-2022 to 2025-2026 with a value of 1.15 trillion Tanzanian shillings, which is a concessional loan.
The Director of Department of Middle East Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Ambassador Abdallah Kilima, says that Tanzania will continue to cooperate with various Arab countries for the wider interests of the nation. He made the remarks during the celebrations of International Day of Arabic Language, which is celebrated every year on 18th December. Peter Mganga was there and has prepared the following report.
In 2010, UNESCO proclaimed December 18 as Arabic Language Day to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity, as well as to promote equal use of all 6 of its official working languages throughout the organization. On December 18, 1973, the General Assembly approved Arabic as an official United Nations language. Here, Ambassador Abdallah Kilima, who is the Director of Department of Middle East Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, explains the way in which the government of Tanzania cooperates with the various Arab countries in maintaining bilateral relations through the Arabic language.
In order to have a constructive relation between nations, there has to be a legal environment. And the legal environment here, we're talking about agreements or memorandum of understanding. We have signed several memorandum of understanding between Tanzania and Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries, specifically in capacity building of this capacity building of the Department of the Language in Dodoma University, as well as University of Dar es Salaam. One of the strategies is also to review the curriculum of our learning institution. I'm sure now Arabic is among the languages which are included in our curriculum, so that most of the schools will start teaching Arabic as a foreign language, so that to equip our people with more language. The more language you have in our life is advantage to you, and you will be accessing many opportunities around the world.
On the other hand, the ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Tanzania, Yahya Ahmed, elaborates strategies to promote the Arabic language in Tanzania and around the world in general.
Arabic language is it has the privilege to establish more or involved in more to 100 languages in the world, and we would like to enhance on this role of our language, and to include our friends aboard the Arabic countries about the Arabic language and the history of Arabic language and our history actually and our culture.
World Arabic Day has been celebrated on 18th December every year since 2012, while 375.4 million of people, they used to communicate by using Arabic language. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Peter Mganga, TBC News.
Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now have a look at our today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Dear viewers, don't miss our every weekdays to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. And here's international news as compiled and read by Nyambona Masamba.
The major fire burning in the Guinea capital Conakry was triggered by an explosion on the fuel depot of Canal Peninsula in the center of the city. The facilities near Conakry Central Prison and residential areas. Dozens of people have been injured and the fire is reported to be spreading from the fuel depot nearby neighborhoods. The cause of the explosion is unknown. Iraqis voters are heading to the polls in the first provincial elections in a decade. The ruling Shia-Muslim alliance is likely to extend its people on power. Its main political rival, the Saad movement, is boycotting the election. The provincial votes set stage for parliament election scheduled for 2025. Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić has declared victory in a snap parliament election. The Serb, after polls projected his ruling Serbia's Progressive Party was on track to win. The vote seen as a referendum to his right-wing government. The center-left opposition has rejected the president's announcement, saying it has evidence of widespread voter fraud. To the Middle East, the U.S. Defense Secretary of State is on his way to Israel for talks with leaders there. Israel has been stepping up its military offensive despite a rising of international pressure. Lloyd Austin is expected to meet his Israel counterpart to discuss the ongoing military operation on Gaza. Austin has previously warned Israel risks a strategic defeat in Gaza if it is failed to protect its Palestinian civilians. He will be held back to Bahrain after a long-day visit. He will be also visiting Qatar as a part of a tour in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Israel media say Hamas and Israel are open to talk on a new ceasefire and exchange of captive prisoners to be mediated by Qatar. Negotiations stalled at the beginning of the month after a week-long ceasefire collapsed. And the former South African President Jacob Zuma has Saturday denounced governing African National Congress Party, ANC, and announced that he will vote for a newly formed political formation in South Africa's general election next year. Zuma called other South Africans to vote for the new formation, saying it to be a betrayal to vote for ANC of President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Among the reasons why I've taken this decision, what I realized, this is not the country I fought for.
That was international news. Sports news follows shortly. And in sports news, Simba Sports Club head coach Abdel Haki Benchika says their preparation for the game against Wydad Casablanca is to ensure that they get the 3 points to ensure safety in the group. Coach Benchika adds that the excellent level shown by his players in the game against Wydad in Morocco has given him the light of the best way to win the tomorrow's match.
We are confident for our capacities to play the game. We miss two players in middle fit. It's not easy, but all players are ready to play a good game for our fans.
Simba Sports Club welcomes Wydad at Benjamin Mkapa in CAF Champions League group stage match, and only the win will give them hope to qualify for the quarterfinals of the tournament. Simba has already played 3 matches in the tournament and has secured only 2 points, making victory in tomorrow's match mandatory. Tanzania has been urged to participate in sports as a way of keeping away from non-communicable diseases like pressure and diabetes, which are affecting many people in the country. Speaking during the Pacesetters Awards held in Dar es Salaam, the Chief Executive Officer of Fitness Top, Dr. Fatema Juma, says engaging in sports increases physical fitness, helps to avoid diseases, and as the result, concentrate in economic activities.
I have always been working very closely with the health of Tanzania. We do several medical camps that we do heart health, diabetes, and all of that. And as a nutritionist, I'm always representing my country there for my country. Then it just not limits me for doing it for my country. Now it is for my continent, Africa.
Very grateful, and we are very happy to get this one. And actually, it encourages us to do more work.
Because every year there's improvement. So next year we hope to have more companies on board and more support system for these particular companies.
The Pacesetters Awards was organized by Jubilant Stewards of Africa. Well, dear viewers, and that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Agnes Tuniga. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.
Shikamano Studios, Shikamano Studios, Shikamano Studios. Shikamano Studio, ndani ya TBC.